A little bit about myself. I'm a homegrown. Graduated from Cloquet in 1973, a few years ago, and immediately after graduation moved down to Duluth, married a Denfeld girl, and who's the pride and joy of my life, Beth. We have two children, Ben, who's a 32-year-old public school teacher, and a daughter, Emily, who's 21 or 22. She's currently a student at St. Scholastica. So we kind of spread them out there, and they both live together in one of our residential properties in Piedmont. So we live in the Lower Piedmont, Upper Lincoln Park District, just below Skyline, by Chuck, actually, by the new Lincoln Park Middle School. And occupationally, I started out my career as a independent journalist, very independent, trying to find my way there, mostly as a sports writer. In recent years, I've gravitated towards real estate investments that my wife and I have gotten into pretty deeply, and so that's basically my full-time job, and also been writing blogs and taking pictures for a few extra dollars and for fun mostly. I love to build community, so that's a little bit about my thing. I actually dropped out of college in 1975 or 6, and now I'm excited that I just recently went back to college at UWS, where I dropped out, and I'm finishing something that I started that I was unable to finish. So I'm kind of excited about that. I'm 2 classes away. I'll graduate in the fall. So kind of a late bloomer.
What's your what are you going
journalism.
Oh,
I'll have a journalism degree and a recreational management minor, and again graduate in the fall. Pretty exciting. Other than my wife and son, nobody in my family's ever graduated. I came from an impoverished background, and so that's a little bit about me. Last couple of years, 2 years ago, I got in as a city councilor at the request of some of my mentor type friends, and it's been a good experience. Frankly, it's a lot of personal growth. I think it's a really good fit for me. And so why am I running? Because I really think that I was kind of built for this in many ways. I think it's a great fit for me as a community builder. The opportunities are there. I think that as a businessman, I bring a real strong fiscal approach to it, to government, which is, I think it's needed, and so that's pretty much the gist of it. I'll let you just get to your question.
Sure. Well, I want to build on that. Just you call yourself a community builder and a businessman, and with the fiscal responsibility. Talk about how you've been a community builder and how you take that to the mayor's office.
Well, I really love. I love to, with an ear to the ground, I really like kind of hearing about new projects. Economic development has really been my passion for all these years, and specifically local recreational development has really wags my tail. And a good example of that is the Heritage Center. When I found out that Alex Giuliani, I think it was in your paper, matter of fact, reported it, and I went down and met with Alex that day, and I said, I'd really like to help you in any way I can. And so Alex let me come on board, and I helped facilitate some of those meetings with local leaders and Jim Overstar types, and then Mayor Gary Doty, and Alex let me attend a lot of the meetings. So it was really fun, because you could see it growing and mushrooming into that second arena. But I knew what it was going to do for the Lincoln Park District, and specifically and not only for recreation purposes, but so I was involved in that. I really had fun with that, and I learned a lot. And I learned a lot about that, that a cheerleading role is kind of an important role in development. So I had fun with that. Other things, that I'm kind of and I just love development. My wife the other day said to me something to the effect, John Fido, one of his great quotes, and I think you guys probably published it, is like, I chew on El Checky's ankles. And I thought, that's kind of me. I remember John and I talked about that. It's like I see opportunity. I'm unafraid to really pursue things like that. And I think as mayor, I think I would. That's a lot of the things that I would be involved in. I'd also be really involved in recreational type opportunities in parks. As a young boy, I remember as a young impoverished boy. basically being raised by a community, how important the parks and the college mentors and all that were important to me in my life, and how the investment that they made in me then helped get me to where I am today. So I'm excited about that. Was one of the things that I was really shocked about, is how Duluth recreation programming is really missing the boat, I think, in terms of getting college kids back in the summer and really mentoring, and we have a tendency, I think, in Duluth just to throw some dollars at these things, and Boys and Girls Club, and think we're doing great, but there's just so many opportunities that I think, as a small town person and who is a beneficiary of that, really steads me well for the future.
Sure. Talk a little about how you would envision your style as mayor. I mean, do you see yourself kind of continuing the direction set by Mayor Ness, or are you looking to bring something new and different to the mayor's office?
Well, every candidate, I'm assuming, will say that we want to just continue the momentum he's built. I mean, he's going to go down as one of those best ever mayors, no question about it, and he certainly deserved. What style will I bring different? I think that, and again, I'll go back to Don a little bit. Don, what he was able to do at this time in Duluth history was very vital to deal with the retiree healthcare issue. I mean, that was the big elephant sitting on our chest, and he dealt with it. I think he he cashed in a lot of political capital to do that, and to his credit, he got that done. I think that's his biggest legacy. The next person is going to have to really build on, he built up our image and very strongly, and now we need to really live up to it. And so I think we're going to need a lot of grunt work, in the sense that we're going to need somebody who's really out there and the nuts and bolts, stay-at-home kind of guy, and that's right up my wheelhouse. I mean, that's the kind of, I'm comfortable in those situations. I'm experienced in those kind of situations. I know how to take a task and get it done. I know how to get people rallied behind things to accomplish a goal. I leave my ego at the door, and I love to empower workers. And it's been interesting in the last couple of years to see the talented workers at City Hall. I'm excited to get in there in January and to meet with those city employees and to inspire them to allow them to be more inclusive in the city process of moving forward. And so I think that the season that we're looking at is a season of infrastructural repair, bulldoggedness, businessman's approach, and trying to find the resources to do these things. I mean, so again, it's a different kind of a mayor. Whoever he or she is going to have to, by Don's own words, by his own words, he says that the next person better be a bulldog on this infrastructure.
Yeah. But it sounds like your passions on cheerleading and community building and economic development fits right into what you think we need next.
And I'm just say this very humbly, Chuck. I really believe that my 40 years as a businessman has really allowed me to learn how to get things done with not a lot of resources. To be frank. I'm tested on the streets of the local marketplace, and I've learned how to find my way, how to work with people. I haven't burned a lot of bridges, and I really am good at moving. And how should I say this? I'm really good at. My mentor just told me this the other day. I'm really good at seeing a task, figuring out a strategy to get there, and getting there and getting it done. I'm goal orientated. And doing it efficiently, not being overly spendy, So.
Okay, you're going to be the mayor is going to be the manager of a fairly large business, with a lot of what in your skill set do you have that's going to make you a good manager?
Because I believe in people, That's a great question, John. I really believe in people. I love empowering people, and I believe in inclusiveness management style. You know, I'm going to set policy very strongly at the beginning because I've thought for years about these type of things. I'm going to set policy, and I'm going to be smart enough to get out of the way. I'm not going to micromanage. That's not my management style. That's not my leadership style. I inspire, I support, and the employees are going to love that type of management style. I know that. I've spoken with hundreds of them. That's my style. We're going to all get on the same page. We're going to feel continue that optimism that we have to build Duluth. And you know, these are people who are vested. These are people that are out not only working for the city, but they're out in the community. Sure. They're coaching our little league teams, and you know. And I'm gonna provide a lot of hope and leader. You know, it's about leadership. Yeah. It's really about leadership. You know, and again, I say this very humbly, but you know, getting from the point where I was 2 years ago as a possible candidate as a candidate for city council and to where I am today, it's just remarkable. And it's a hard journey. It's challenging. You know, you be in the political eye, and you know, and I'm comfortable in that type of thing as a kind of a low-level sports writer, but. The personal growth that I've had and the confidence that I'm getting, I think really is going to help me be able to do. I had to get ready. I had to get ready to be a counselor. They brought me in early. Now I believe I'm going to win. I really do, and I don't say that to be arrogant. I believe I'm going to win, and I'm positioning myself psychologically and getting ready, professionally and otherwise, to lead this town, as John just said, and it's an enormous task. I'm taking it really seriously.
Building quickly on John's question, and just you said 40 years as a businessman. Just real quickly, tell me a little bit more your background. What businesses have you run? What businesses have you managed?
Okay, we have a real estate investment company. Okay. We own residential.
What's that called?
Lincoln Village Inc.
Lincoln Village Inc. Okay.
And we have residential and commercial properties. Okay. We've had good growth over the years. We're invested in Duluth. Okay. Just recently bought our first big, or not big, but a commercial building. John would be interested in hearing this. A commercial building in Lincoln Park. So we have our first. It's been one of our goals for many years to have our own Lincoln Village Inc. building where we can operate and continue to grow. And we've got properties in Cloquet area, and, you know, but. So I can really speak to the issues that the small business people have. You know, I can also speak to the issues that tenants have, landlords have, and the impact on things such as the street fees and, you know, and I tried to warn, frankly, one of the things I'm most proud of in the first 2 years in the council, I tried to warn the councilors that, you know, this street fee, this casino replacement street fee is going to be really a difficult thing for people to adjust to, as small as it is, $5 a month and up to, you know, $240 per commercial. It fell on deaf ears, and there's a lot of anger out there. There's a lot of anger. Last night at the National Night Out, walking all over Duluth, you know, in all these different events, that was the #1 issue. People are really angry about
the street fee specifically?
Really angry.
Well, as long as you brought up the street fee and street repair and core services, I guess kind of ties into that. But you know, with the Fond du Luth money now lost, not there anymore, how are we going to take care of ongoing infrastructure maintenance?
Well, first of all, we need to give taxpayers a bigger bang for their buck. I mean, these basic services of snow plowing, street repair, fire, police, safety issues and stuff like that, these were things that were covered under our property taxes for generations. I mean, the question I ask is, how did we get away from that? And why weren't those priorities? And why do we have all, as I view it, this wild spending on all these social programs and things like that? And those are important too. But what I'm saying is that I'm conservative enough and business-like enough to say, let's take a look at this and find out the revenues are the same. We've got lesser employees, and certainly the cost of operations have gotten higher. But you know, it's an issue of priority spending, and you know, we got to get right back to the basics. We've got to plow these streets. We got to fix these streets. We got to beef up our police department, have fire, and it's a very conservative approach, fiscally responsible approach, And those are going to be priorities. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to come out during the campaign, I'm going to say, you know what, we're going to have transparency is going to be one of the biggest drivers in my campaign. We're going to be transparent. Mm-hmm. Not to say that we are suggesting that there's been any fraudulent activity or anything like that. This isn't disrespectful to the former administrations or including Don Ness. But I think people really need to be communicated to stronger in terms of like where exactly we are as a community, where our spending is going, and what it looks like. So I have a plan at the end of the first quarter in March, whatever. We're going to meet at the deck in a so-called economic type summit thing. I'm going to share with the people and say, this is the amount of revenue coming in from LGA. Our property taxes, these are we're going to have a P&L statement, a public P&L statement that people are going to be able to chew on. And then we're going to make decisions based on that. But I think until we get really open and honest, that this continuing thinking that there's somehow this big pot of money out there which I know is not true, it needs to be dispelled. And so we're going to I'll be very transparent. I think being older and only doing one term really puts me in a unique situation to really come in and make a difference, in that regard.
Well, get back to basics. That sounds good, but you mentioned social programs that we're funding at the expense of the basics or expense of core services. What social programs specifically would have to be dropped, or would we have to try to find other funding for?
Well, I don't. First of all, the city. I've learned. I love studying the city budget. My wife absolutely screams at me a lot about that issue, but there isn't a lot of city money that's being thrown out there for social programming. The nonprofits seem to be doing really well. The foundations seem to be supporting them. There's a lot of grant and aid, from the state or federal level and stuff like that. So it's not an attack in the city budget to say that we're going to not fund social programs, because I believe in I was a product of social programming. My parents never got off of the welfare system. So I understand that. It's a good safety net, and I would never want to suggest that. But if you drill down into the City of Duluth budget, very, very limited amounts of money are going towards social programming. It's painful to run any social programming dollars through the city budget.
Well, I'm sorry, but you're saying that we need to reallocate or reprioritize money for core services.
Yeah.
But what are we spending the money on now that we should rather be spending on?
Well, one of the things that I'm not supportive of the proposed library thing. Bonding for the library. I'm not supportive of that. I'm also not supportive of the North Shore Theater project. It's not a necessity. We're plowing millions and millions of dollars through DETA into the North Shore project. Proposed, with Engleave, and now that's a big issue. You guys just reported that today. But so my thing is I want to drill down into it and take a look at those things and find out exactly where the money can come to throw back in the street. We're close. We're close. I think we're getting our streets plowed. Can we do it better? Yes, we can always do it better. Can we fix more streets? Well, we absolutely have to find money for streets. And that kind of is a segue into the big part about my campaign. Is I am going to, from the very beginning of this campaign, win or lose on the premise of the municipal casino opportunity. A proactive thinker. I know how to find money under rocks, and the reality is the casino has made its choice to honor and rightfully so, honor the Fed thing that's been tried in the courts to not pay the City of Duluth money. That's fine. It's behind us, okay? But as part of that, the contract is null and void, in my view. And having said that, they no longer have a no-compete clause against the City of Duluth. So the idea of the municipal casino is on the table, and the issue there is, can we get the state to open up the PACs? And I have every intention to pursue that with all vigor. The reality is Duluth is in a situation that it needs to find more money, okay? The state of Kansas, good interesting project, if anybody wants to Google it and do some research on it. The state of Kansas now operates 4 county-owned casinos. And they are taking in over upwards of $60 to $80 million each annually. Mm-hmm. So the argument that we can't operate a casino legally, that doesn't carry any weight because they broke a contract. The contract is broken. And we got to do what we got to do. So now it just becomes business in my mind. And to get the state to open up those contracts and pacts, I think it's a doable thing. Now, Karen, Diver, and I can disagree about that forever, or we can. The reality is, the people of Duluth cannot continue to pay fees and increase the tax base enough to sustain the loss of this $6 million. Yes. And the unfortunate thing about this thing is it's very politically charged issue. 7 of the 9 councilors on the city council will not support that. You know, potentially competing against the casino, and I will. Mm-hmm. It's just business. It's not a personal. It's not personal to the Fond du Lac band. I mean, I'm from Cloquet. Mm-hmm. I was raised by the Diver family. Basically, lived across the street from me. I get it. I understand. I think what we did here is we really missed an opportunity by breaking this contract. We missed an opportunity for Indian Nation and the city of Duluth to really move forward on issues of importance to the Fond du Lac band members in Duluth. I think that's the biggest issue here. We'll find our money. We'll find our money, and we're going to look to. We're going to also begin a discussion about looking to the lake. The lake is our greatest asset. We're starting to flip towards the lake. You know, the lake walk coming in, I think, was a big thing. John's Hotel. I mean, these guys are smart businessmen. They know what they're doing. You know, we need to flip to the lake, and I think the lake needs to be protected very strongly, of course. And we're doing a good on the lakes or the St. Louis watershed and all that type of things with the WSSD and meeting. But I think the lake offers a lot of opportunity for us, and we need to build on what's working for us, and that's the business part of it, Chuck. I mean, tourism's working.
Be specific. Tourism. I mean, we do capitalize a lot on the lake with tourism.
Tourism has been a big growth area.
Yeah.
Tourism can be built upon. Tourism can be built upon. We have major parking issues in Canal Park.
Okay.
And the traditional way of thinking is that parking ramps lose money, and I look at it differently. I look at it, and I've done my due diligence. I love due diligence, and I'm a bulldog on due diligence. The fact is, a parking ramp in Canal Park will build upon a huge revenue stream, upwards of $13 million, that we now add to our city coffers from just the Canal Park district. So if we can, for example, just using raw numbers, if we can spend $4 million on a parking ramp, and we can get John to open up his wallet and Andy Borg and those type of people to be partners in this thing, you know, that any city investment in there, if we can pound that up to taking $14 million out of our tourism industry, well, as a city, we're $2 million ahead. So what's working for us? Let's invest in the things that are working for us. Let's build upon the things that are working for us, and let's not try to pull these carrots out of the air. You know, the other area, you know, the lake offers some economic development opportunities. Lake Superior bottling, not in my generation, but in our grandkids' generations, will be a huge economic opportunity. I can't believe that people are not investing in Lake Superior water bottling companies. So those are things that I'd like to, as mayor, I'd like to start chewing on the ankles of some of these bottling companies and get them up here. Talk about it. Talk about, you know, our workforce, you know, and the opportunities to tap into that water and be ahead of the curve.
You're talking about a parking ramp in the middle of the canal. Where are you envisioning this ramp to be? Where the current lot is?
Yep. In the big one, it's a jointly owned lot.
The big lot where everybody goes in and
where the tents are.
In the middle.
In the middle.
Yeah.
So
just northwest middle.
Yeah.
Just from the aesthetic perspective, wouldn't that just kind of...
Not necessarily. The heights are, 3 to 4 stories already. I think I envision a 3 to 4 story parking ramp right there. And there'd be some kind of it's jointly owned. My understanding is, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's jointly owned between some private in the city. And so I envision it going there. And I think it's a great fit, and it's according to the people I've talked with at the parking in Duluth, the parking guys or whatever they call them, they said it could be even a profit center. So again, it's an issue of just building upon what is really working for us. And if you drill down on the city revenues, the local government aid is always the big issue and whatnot, but we're making a lot. John's hotels and Andy's hotels and all that, they're driving a lot of revenue to the city coffers. I mean, we went up $2 million this year just on the tourism taxes that we're handing out, to meet different obligations and things we're trying to do with street improvements and I mean, it's huge. It's so.
Chuck, can I ask him one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one quick one. It's that you're talking about this casino, municipal casino.
Yep.
You've already said 7 of 9 councilors are probably not for it right now.
That's my sense.
You'd have to get past the state legislature, obviously.
Right.
You've also got possible litigation from the tribe because they will say that it's a compete. And there will also be a perception that we're getting even with them. Are these all things you realistically believe you can overcome?
Absolutely. First of all, we don't have a contract. The band can't have it both ways. They can't say we're not going to pay you the $6 million and then say we have a no compete. Right? I mean, I don't know how you litigate that. I mean, you can litigate anything you want, but the reality is, when they made that choice, they're opening themselves up, like i.e. the state of Kansas, for these type of things. So, we'll defend it, we'll win it, and we will go seek state approval to do this. I think there's I floated the idea about a year ago. People thought I was nuts on it, and my phone didn't stop ringing. Swear to God. And people were telling me in the industry, legislative type people were telling me I'm ahead of the curve on this thing. And I know that I'm right on. I know I'm right on with the community. The community wants to pursue it. I would say that upwards of 80% of the people of Duluth want to pursue this. Just pursue it. Just see if it's...
Where would a municipal casino be?
It could be several different locations. I think the opportunity to put it in conjunction with the deck makes a lot of sense, and here's why. Because if Harris comes in and says, oh, we'll partner, we're an operator, we'll take 25% of the pie, and we'll give you $200 million in build out, and we'll be a partner with you for that 25% commitment. It's like, yeah, where do we sign up? But the opportunity is to build it at the to build it, using the curling club, the Pioneer Hall. So to maybe move someone I have a lot of respect for said one time, move the curling club out of there, maybe move them to Anger Park or something like that, and get them in a nice thing and kill 2 birds with 1 stone up at Anger. But let's just focus in on that. Let's say if we put them at the Pioneer Hall, and we build a big casino operation there, get some more parking down there. Harris, what is Harris, if Harris is the operator, and these people will bid on this. They'll bid for part of and they'll invest their own money to do this. And then they come into Duluth or in Bloomington, for example, but let's speak Duluth. They come in, we build up a casino there. Think of what that looks like. First of all, it could still be Fond du Lac too. They could be a partner in this. They'd be smart, in my mind, to be a partner in this. And I'd like to approach the Fond du Lac band and ask them, do they want to be a partner in this somehow? Maybe it's a better area, maybe they do too, or whatever. But here's the key in this thing. And we invested $70 million or whatever into the deck. We wanted to be a big entertainment center for the region, stuff like that. Harris comes in. What's in their best interest is to have major entertainment at the deck. They're an operator, an entertainment company first, in a sense. We could feasibly, the window of opportunity here is to feasibly have Las Vegas type entertainment regularly at the deck, with them fitting the bill and becoming a real entertainment region, and allowing the deck to fulfill its mission. I mean, these are not pie in the sky, outside the box thoughts. These are things that are happening all around the country. It's the issue is who's going to champion them and who's going to make them a priority. And that's the thinking. I don't think it's personal I think it's just good business. It's good business. This town needs money.
Oh, we're out of time,
Okay,
but
yep.
just one sentence, a couple other issues we wanted to get to, just one sentence. Library,
100% against it.
Against what?
The new building.
what should happen?
We need
leave
to
it
go
as
in
is?
there. First of all, there's not a problem.
There's not a problem.
There's not a problem.
So leave it as is.
There's no problem there. There's no problem at the zoo.
Okay.
There's no problem. We're trying to create problems to drive people to the polls. Let's call a spade a spade. The library is not a problem. We get in there, we fix the furnace. You know, the loss of any potential utility costs. It's just general maintenance.
Okay.
And so I'm totally against the library issue. It was an idea that was being floated by the administration to entice the Fond du Lac Casino to settle this disagreement. It was the library idea float down by the casino. It was part of a strategy to get the casino back providing money to the city.
So don't build a new library, just fix up the old one.
Absolutely.
Or make repairs if necessary, okay?
It's not necessary.
Bonding priorities next legislative session.
I think bonding for streets is a good argument. I think it's a really good argument, you know, but it's going to come, the people are going to decide.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a mayor or a city councilor necessarily. It's going to be, the people need to decide, and that's where that March thing, that after the first quarter, come to economic Jesus meeting kind of thing. So what do we want to do, folks? This is where we're at. What do we want to do for our kids and our grandkids?
And you brought it up, zoo. What should happen there?
Nothing. There's not a problem. The zoo society came in and told us that their numbers are up. Their attendance and financial numbers are up. They're meeting their budget. There's not a problem.